So yeah, we've got some rehousing to do today, but first we've got to deal with another issue. My seemanni's enclosure has had a horrible mould outbreak and we need to change all the substrate out on that one. I want to do it not just because it looks unsightly, but where her enclosure is next to some of the others, I do not want all the spores to become airborne and transfer to the other enclosures. So we're going to tidy that one up first. Take her out, clean the enclosure entirely, put her back in, job done. Then we'll get to the rehousing. So first task of the day is going to be catching her, but we've got to empty some stuff out of here first because as you can see, well, you can't see her, but as you can see there's a lot of stuff in this enclosure that needs to come out, so we'll start with that, just emptying it. This is going to be a long, painful task. As you can see, look at the mould on that, it's horrible, absolutely horrible. So that's going straight in the bin. We'll come back to her in a second. Quick battery change. Right, let's try and get some of this stuff out of here, shall we? In the cup. Put the lid on. There she is. Don't know how good that's coming out on camera, but she's a beautiful spider. Right. Put the lid on there. Now she's in there, I can just take this tank downstairs and dump it. And we're back. Empty, boil washed, and clean. Clean. She's got to go back in it because I haven't got anything else to put her in. So we'll get some substrate in here. I'm going with this, I've never tried this before, so we'll see what it's like, but spider-like. Right, let's get the gorgeous girl back into her home, shall we? Hopefully she'll be nice and calm. She's hunkered down, and as you can see she's not very happy about being out. So let's try and put her back in without too much incident. straight to your home. Yeah? And in. Job done.
A few moments later.
So in the critter keeper we have here a Sourpierce reduncus. It has hidden itself pretty well down the bottom, but when it's out it literally is the size of this lid. I don't know how I've missed it because it did recently molt, but it didn't look like it was that large. But as we've rehoused Versicola last week, we're going to move into one of the same type of enclosures that I've modified from Mantis Den. So we've set up their enclosure. It's pretty basic, but it gives them a nice bit of cork bark at the back to web up in, a bit of sphagnum moss in there, and water bowl, ventilation, etc, etc. I think it'll be happier and more content in here and not so aggravated. The only downside is the Sourpierce, they do like to run, so not sure about this door being so large for it, but hey ho, it is what it is. We'll deal with any problems when it happens. Right, let's get to the rehouse. Right, hopefully you can see this okay. I think what we're going to do is have this tipped in this way. I'm hoping that when we open this up it's just a nice easy move from one to the other, but it does like a bolt, so we will see. I think he's just here on the back. You can just maybe see the legs here, but we will see what goes on with this one. They're a pain in the backside to get them out of this unless they're on the top, so well, we'll see what goes on. Try not to jump too much. Maybe just give the actual spider the option of going straight into its new home like that. Don't really want my hand down there, so we'll try and get it so that, there we go, and we'll see if we can get that just to come out. Tease it out maybe with a brush. It's never going to work, is it? We've got to literally try and motivate this one forward a little bit. Who knows? This would be a lot easier if I could actually take the cork bark out. So maybe we'll do it that way. Maybe we'll do it that way. Let's. You can see the spider on the cork bark, so with that in mind, maybe we'll try and just nudge the spider forward. There we go, let's go the other way, shall we? Let's go that way. No, not this way. Go and touch. Go this way. Let's walk you out this way. Let's walk you out this way. Come on. Go on, let's go. Why do you want to come towards me? Hunkered down, and maybe move him backwards without pushing too much. Come on, dude. Just go backwards. Ever so slightly. That's it. Go on. Nice and slow. This recently, well, I say recently molted, it molted about 3 weeks ago, so 4 weeks ago maybe, but I didn't realise the size of it. See if it's going to go backwards anymore. Come on, let's just go back. Really doesn't want to let go of its webbing. Come on, let's go backwards. Maybe up. No, not that way. Not that way. Why would you want to go down? Maybe we'll turn you that way then. And see now if we can encourage your bum to go. If I just tap in the bum. Come on, let's go this way. What is it about some spiders that literally just want to... He's really being calm, to be fair. There you go. What I might do, rather than stress him out too much, is I may actually just close the door with that piece of cork bark in there so he can then move out into his new home, because then it's not going to stress the spider too much, because as you can see he's like sitting here and he really doesn't want to come off of this, and if I keep prodding him too much, sooner or later what he's going to do is he's going to just bolt, because it's just going to get peed off. So it's moving, but then it gets to its web and oh, actually, after I've decided to say all that, right, down the bottom I'm going to trouble is there's not enough room to do that with this. I'll give him a minute, We will resume.
One eternity later.
Yeah, there's not really enough room, but I might be able to get it in this way if I very carefully move it in and then shut the door very gently. Just make sure his legs aren't trapped. Just move his leg. Right. And I know it's not ideal, but as you might be able to see now, by zoom right in, he's on the bark, he's there, and he's on his webbing and he feels secure, so there's no point stressing him out loads. Might as well just leave him on that. The door's now shut, he's now in his new enclosure, he's got plenty of room in there to move around, and hopefully what will happen is he'll come off of this piece, and sort of move and hunker up around the back of this massive piece of cork bark that he's got and make a new home back here once he realises. We'll leave, it might not take too long, we might come back to him very shortly and see him moved. And there it is, out now on his leaf. Hey, a bit too much light, but there we go. Next up, some tiny little rehouses. We've got the seemannis, these tiny little slings. The only reason they're getting rehoused, I'm not a fan of the vials. These things, tiny little error, tiny little environment, big impact. Tiny little error in a slightly bigger environment, or sorry, an error in a slightly bigger environment, less of an impact. Plus, they are getting quite chunky. They've had a couple of molts in these little vials, and they are a little bit chunky now. So, even though they probably could get away with staying there a little bit longer, I don't know if you can see that with the light on that one there. Give me zoom in on that one. See if we can get. There we go. See, they're a little bit chunky. They could probably do with coming out. Get a chance to see them anyway. And they will thrive in these regardless anyway. So just basic setup, substrate, it's a water bowl, a little bit of cork bark buried into the ground. Similar with this one, a little bit of wood and water bowl. It's the inside of a cork bark. Nice deep substrate for them. Hey, and we're going to go out of focus. Right, let's get these rehoused. Okay, let's have a quick look. One thing I do need to do is put a little bit of water in there. Give it a little bit of moisture size. Right, this one's relatively big. Don't know if that is seen on camera really. Is it going to focus? Is it going to focus or not? There we go, you can see it just on the top part, just here. Right. Let's see if we can get this out nice and calmly. Oh yeah, man. This way. No, don't keep backing up. Nice big house, come on. There we go. Straight underneath. Straight underneath its bark. And into its hole. There we go, so that's down there, all nice and secure. Right, on to the next one. Okay, so Spider decided to run. Let's go get him. This is funny. Right, where is he? Don't know if you can see him, just literally down here. Okay, so we'll have him zoomed out for a little bit now. We'll follow this little Benny Hill story. Let's get this empty. Get the spider in. Right. The annoying thing about square cups and round there we go. Nice and easy. Run straight in there. Right, see if we can get him in there nice and calmly without him making me jump like an idiot. Right, you stay there. See, so we've got two spiders, the same spider. This one's super calm, this one a little bit more skittish. And it does show you that you can't always just judge a species or genus just literally on the name alone, because this one's actually extremely different to this one. And yeah, I made myself a bit look like I mean, I was expecting a nice calm spider, and yeah, should have kept my wits about me, eh? That's the thing. The advantage was I don't know if you saw it because it was off camera here, but basically what happened was, as he's come out of this jar here, like this, he's literally run round over my thumb, which I wasn't expecting, and as I tried to move my thumb, I've dropped the enclosure and he's landed down here and then just run off round. But he's only literally fallen about half a centimetre because I had to cut here like that, so not a problem. Doesn't seem any worse for wear for it, so we'll get that on before he starts running off again. But yeah, so that's a seemanni's, 2 little slings, beautiful condition these ones. Got these from Bethany Spiders, and yeah, so 1 and 2. Right, on to the next housing. Okay, this one, I don't mind admitting, this one will be my, I'd say my first proper nervous rehouse. Not, I shouldn't really say that because I shouldn't be nervous rehousing this, but this one's a little bit fast. This is going to be my regalis, which currently is residing in here, but she's like that sort of size, so I want to put her in here because she'll have room to grow. See, I could, again, and this might actually happen because I don't really want to be messing around with her too much, and it's a calm rehouse. I might just literally put the enclosure in here and let her come out. Give her some water, give her some light. Should have really got my big spray for this is silly. Right, what do you think about the enclosure anyway, guys? Let's give you a zoom in on that. See if you, what do you think? This is the cork bark backing that I did the other day. And my dog now is downstairs barking like an idiot. So 2 seconds. Right. I may just move this. At the moment, she's down here, sort of hunkered down. I could just lift this in. I think this is going to be deep enough. She wouldn't have much room at the top, unfortunately, to get through, but I could put it at an angle. Let me just see how that fits. I know this won't be very exciting for you, but again, like I said in the last one, spider comes first. While she's hunkered down there, while I can see her hunkered down, let's get this water bowl emptied. That's here. And why am I doing that? Well, because when I tip the enclosure everywhere, I don't particularly want her freaking out because water tips all over her. So I tend to empty the water bowls so that if the enclosure does tip, it doesn't freak a spider out. Find it's a sensible thing to do. Yeah, she's proper hunkered down there. She's on a cork bark. Maybe I'll move the cork bark in there with her and then I can just shut the door and we'll see how that goes. What I'll do is I'll see if she moves when I move the cork bark and we'll go from there. Now, typical, she's come off the cork bark. Okay, so she's now left the cork bark, so she's got nowhere. So we're going to move her. We're going to move her. see if she'll come up. See if I can get her to come up into the catch cup. Okay, she's moving, but typical pokey, hunkered down at the bottom. See if we can, again, entice her up without making her nervous. Come on. Right. Move that out of the way. So we now have her in the catch cup, and what I'm thinking is I'm literally just going to put the catch cup in there so she can come out on her own, in her own time, without too much stress, because we've stressed her enough. I think that'll be the best way of doing this, rather than worrying too much about making her come out. That's if the catch cup fits those, which it's possibly not going to do. It should do, but we'll see. Let's have a look, see if we can get that in a little bit better without it. There we go. And I know it's not, I know for you guys it's not like entertaining to see, but what you'll see here is I'm not having to do anything. I'm not risking it bolting, running away or anything like that. Literally, I can watch her come out of there, and when she comes out of the cup and goes behind the cork bark, I can calmly open the door. And this hasn't taken too long. As you can probably see, she's already come out and she's moved on to the cork bark. So literally took her own time. She came out of the cup and moved on. This one is the only one that I will say I'm going to be a little bit careful with. Well, I say a little bit careful, I'm going to be more cautious with this than any of the others so far. This is its new enclosure. Don't know if you can see that clearly, but basically we have a 20 by 20 by 20 Komodo with nice pre-dug burrow over here, which is probably now showing upside down. Yeah, it is. Okay, but you can see it's deep substrate, and this will be my second time rehousing this one. First time was obviously when I got it. She's feisty. Okay, and we're back. after an awful lot of toing and froing and an awful lot of messing around, she's hunkered down at the very end of this catch cup. So we're just going to put the catch cup literally over the new home like this and encourage her into there as quickly as possible and as stress free as possible, because we don't want her to hurt herself, we don't want her to bolt out of this thing. It's right, after what seemed like an eternity, we finally got her in. Catch cup was being squished into this corner with the lid of the old enclosure being squished here. She was doing everything possible within her power to literally squeeze through the tiniest of gaps to get out. So yeah, a little bit nervy, but I mean, she's a beautiful spider, absolutely beautiful spider, but she's a menace, absolute menace. She's got loads of room to grow in this, as you can see. It's quite a big setup for her. And I'm hoping that she just hunkers down and buries like she did in her last place. Don't really want her bolting up the sides all the time. Old enclosure, as you can see, I mean, perspective wise it doesn't look much smaller, but it was, I mean, yeah, it's the same length that way, but this way nowhere near. And depth wise, as you can see, she's got a lot more depth now, a lot more depth, so she can bury in all this nice substrate. Cool, that's the Tarantula.Rookie done. Happy days. Rehousing done. Start off with seemanni, mould issue, obviously needed to sort that out, so that was just a re-sorting out. Hopefully we won't get an outbreak again. That was a pain to do, cleaning the enclosure out and everything, but she seems much happier in there now, as you'll probably see from the footage I'll put over the top. Then we had the reduncus. Couldn't have gone better. So docile rehousing that one. I was expecting a little bolt machine, and no, it surprised me, to be fair. It absolutely surprised me. I you know, pleasantly surprised. It just literally was calm and was good. I mean, I think if you take your time with it, yeah, those things do happen. The seemanni caught me off guard because the first one was so calm, and my fault, and it's duly noted that obviously you have to treat everything the same, and I just was off guard, relaxed, and it jumped out of its little tiny vial and yeah, made me jump. Excellent ice cream van. Then we had the pokey and the regalis populous area, and that was such a nice rehouse. I mean, just put the cup in there and within minutes it was out of the cup and into its enclosure. And whilst it may not be entertaining footage, it's safe for the spider, and I would much rather record something like that than it coming out and me having a nightmare trying to catch it, because I think it would just put me off recording anyway. The Killer Brachis Vietnam Blue, I wasn't actually going to record that one because I wanted to make sure I had my focus 100%, but I set the camera up and just left it and ignored it. Obviously it took far longer, and I had to keep taking a break because it was in the catch cup, wouldn't come out of the catch cup for a long time, so I gave it a good few minutes in that, and then I came back to it, and then once it was out of the catch cup and into the enclosure, it just didn't wanted to escape. It only wanted to escape, so I had to sort of stop and let it settle down again so I could remove the catch cup without it trying to bolt up the side of the enclosure, because it was constantly having 3 or 4 legs trying to get out from any gap possible. They like to bolt. It's an Asian tarantula, what do you expect? But I'm glad it's rehoused. Hopefully fingers crossed, it can stay in the 20 by 20 by 20 Komodo for quite some time. But by the time it'll need a rehouse, I'll be far more experienced anyway. Sun beetles, a little update with them. They're loving their new enclosure, constantly out wandering, hiding in the morning. In the afternoons they'll come out of the dirt, wandering up and down, eating the food, and yeah, they're doing really good, so pretty pleased with that. The viral video of the Nandu carapoensis, that has now passed over 10 million views, and today was shared on Lad Bible's Unilad page, so it's probably still going to keep going up. Very, very strange. So anyway, that's enough rambling. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It does, you know, it makes me happy, smile, and I do it for me, but it's a feel good thing. It's a feel good thing. So yeah, if you did like it, please like the video, possibly subscribe, and I'll catch you again next week for hopefully some more updates, hopefully less mistakes, and yeah, something a little bit interesting. Right, we'll catch up with you then. Cheers.